This is TimeOut Corner, 90 degrees of truth, and you are in the corner. Back to with Luigi. But for this episode, we're going to be going over a couple of incidents that happened over the past couple of days in Nashville, Tennessee. We're going to be going over three stories in particular. Now, these three stories, they all have something in common. Besides the fact that they happened between the hours of 9 and 11 p.m., there's something else that they have in common. Now, the first one is an ATM robbery that tried to take place. The second one is an Uber shooter incident. And the third one is a chicken robbery, a chicken restaurant to be more exact. Now, we're just going to go in order of the ones I just mentioned. Now, let's get started. For the first one, the ATM robbery that happened at a USA bank in Nashville, Tennessee. This one happened on July 30th, 2019. Now, this is a case to where there was a person at an ATM withdrawing cash, and he was approached by another personnel, the robber, and he had a gun. The person being robbed had a gun as well, and he shot the person robbing him. This person didn't die. He was sent to the hospital, getting care, obviously. Now, when he shot the man, he did try to walk away. But that's what happened in this case. A guy was shot. The guy claimed self-defense. Obviously, he's being robbed. He had a gun on him. He was able to protect himself from the robbery. And that's pretty much it is for that story. A man approached a man trying to withdraw money from an ATM. He had a gun. The other man also had a gun. Shot the other person in self-defense. And that's pretty much where the story's at this moment. The next story is involving a personnel, which is a little more lengthier story. This is a story to where a person had shot at an Uber vehicle. Now, the reason why he shot at the Uber vehicle is a little strange, if you ask me. What happened was an Uber driver took his Uber passenger to a liquor store, which is Weiss liquor store in Nashville. That's what the liquor store's name is called, Weiss liquor store. Now, while he dropped the person off, or he took him to the liquor store, he wasn't leaving. He was just dropping him off or stopping at a liquor store. The passenger got out of the vehicle. As he was going to walk inside the liquor store, another man shows up. So the passenger opens up the door and holds it for the soon-to-be shooter. The shooter walks in the liquor store. So the passenger follows him. Nothing's going on at the moment. Apparently, the shooter didn't have any ID to pay for the cigars that he was trying to buy. So the passenger then pays for the cigars for the shooter. Again, still at this point in time, there's no incident that happened. Nothing had happened. The passenger gets in the vehicle, back in the Uber vehicle. The Uber driver and the Uber passenger take off and leave to go take the person home. So you're probably thinking, where's the shooting at? What happened? Well, the shooter then follows the Uber vehicle. The Uber vehicle gets to the passenger's destination, which I believe is his home, where he's living, or apartment complex. I can't remember what it was. We'll be going over the actual news articles so we can actually verify the information I'm stating to make sure everything's correct. But either way, the shooter follows them, starts shooting at the vehicle. The Uber driver actually has a gun. He fires back at the shooter. The shooter gets hit, and he tries to go away, but then he collapses, and he's taken to the hospital. He survives. Now, what happened here was a little strange, because the Uber driver states, well, actually, before we get to that, the shooter pretty much states that the reason why he followed them back and shot the Uber vehicle, I'm guessing he's trying to shoot at the passenger, or because what I'm about to say in a second, but he shot at them is because he felt disrespected. Now, remember earlier when I said that the passenger, when he was going into the liquor store, he opened the door for the shooter, or let's just say the person who he wasn't aware was about to be a shooter. He opened the door for him. They both go in. Then the guy who he just opened the door for didn't have his ID, so he paid for the cigars for him because you can't buy the cigars without the ID. So then nothing's wrong. But the Uber driver states to the police that when the Uber passenger opened up the door for the shooter or to be shooter, the shooter gave the passenger a weird look or a strange look. So pretty much what the Uber driver is saying is, as soon as the passenger opened up the door for this person who ended up following them and shooting at them, that person was mad, was what it seems like. He gave the passenger a weird look, which to me states he was mad or whatever. And then if you go to the end of the story where the shooter tells the police he felt disrespected, I'm thinking he got mad because the Uber passenger opened up the door for him, so he got mad at that and followed them all the way to the place to where the dude was getting dropped off at and shot at the vehicle, only to get shot back at and actually get shot, which is ridiculous if you ask me. Which even just as crazy as the policy Uber has, which I guess is not too crazy for people having weapons, but people do have to defend themselves. But that's just that's beyond crazy that you would actually be that upset to follow somebody to shoot at them because somebody opened up the door for you. I don't understand that one at all. But that's what happened. People, that's what happened in that case. Again, that's why I say this one has a little more info to talk about than the first case. Now the last case, again, first two cases, both personnel survived. Now the last case, this one happened at a chicken restaurant. At least you can take chicken out of the name of the restaurant, which is called Knockout Wings in Nashville, Tennessee. No, the thing that they have in common, also besides the time frame and that they're in Nashville, Tennessee, that's not the thing they have in common I want to talk about. Now, again, the last case, here's a case to where a person walks into this restaurant, this chicken restaurant or this wing restaurant. He's dressed in all black and he has his face covered. He has a gun, and he pretty much is telling him to give him the money. And at this point, somebody has a gun, an employee has a gun. He pulls out takes a gun, however he gets it, and he shoots at the robber. The robber gets hit, and the robber flees, jumps in a vehicle, and takes off, goes home. But then it's reported when he gets to the house, his girlfriend sees him gets out of a white vehicle. A white vehicle takes off, and she sees, I guess he's an injured or whatever, calls the police, but he ends up dying that night. So this person actually dies after he gets shot. He doesn't survive like the other two personnel did. Now, in this case, it's another case of self-defense. Person goes into the store, or restaurant in this case. Everybody in the store who's employees, they were closing down. The restaurant was closing, apparently. They were about to close. It's around closing time. And he's trying to rob it. He's got the person behind the register telling him to give him his money. He actually jumps over the register. From what I remember, if I remember correctly, he jumped over the register. They felt very unsafe. They felt in danger, so they were able to get their hands on a gun and shoot the robber. And the robber flees, but he dies shortly after, or not too long after. He dies that night, pretty much. So the one thing that all three of these cases have in common, besides the time frame, besides the city, and besides a gun being involved in all three of them, all three of these cases, the main thing is they all end in self-defense. That's the main thing. Self-defense was the case for the victims to be able to survive these particular cases. Now, with that being said, we're going to actually take a look at the articles to make sure everything I stated was correct, or go over stuff that I might have missed, or just extra information that we can look at as well. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to look at this stuff right here, and we're going to have a look at the actual stories on the article. Just do a quick look over everything to make sure nothing was missed or correct stuff that I might have got incorrect. Now, first thing we're going to do is take a quick look at the first story, which was the ATM robber. ATM robber. Now let me bring that up here. Now you probably won't be able to see it that good just because I'm not exactly sure the ratio that I can see. I have a big screen over here, or bigger screen. So I'll be skimming over it and stating things that I think that I missed. So for the ATM robbery at a U.S. bank, a man's taking out money. He's approached by a man with a gun. Obviously, he's trying to rob him. And yeah, he shoots the person in self-defense. He ran a short distance and he collapsed. So I might have said the other person collapsed in the next crime, but it was this one where the person collapsed. He remains in critical condition. I didn't mention that, but he's stable. So this person's in critical condition, but he's stable. And it's also stated at the end that he will be arrested once he's released from the hospital, obviously. So there's not much more to the story at all. That's pretty much it. He tried to rob somebody, taking money out of an ATM. The person had a gun, was able to defend himself, shot the robber, and caught. That's the story right there on that one. Now the next one. Now I'm not giving out any names of the personnel of the victims or the suspects just because I don't know the policies, regulations for that stuff. So I'm not going to get out any of that information. If you really want that info, you can just look it up online. It should be simple if you really want it that bad. Now we'll get the name of the stores and stuff like that. That's okay. Now for this one, of course, again, Uber driver takes his passenger to the Weiss liquor store. The passenger opens the door for another person. And he noticed that the person didn't have an ID, so he actually brought the man's cigars that he was trying to get. So not only did he open up the door for this person, he bought the man cigars. So even if you were mad at him for opening up the door for you, you should then say, you know what? I forget about it. To yourself, right? To yourself, just forget about it because, he was kind enough to buy the cigars from me. So don't worry about it. It's cool. It shouldn't be an issue to begin with, but okay, I've never heard of that. Somebody being mad because of that. But anyways, let's continue. Yeah, the Uber driver told detectives that the passenger was given an odd look, a strange, weird look by the shooter when he opened up the door for him. So when the passenger opened up the door for the shooter, the soon-to-be shooter gave an odd look at the passenger. That's what the Uber driver is stating right here. Now, the Uber driver, the passenger got back in the Uber vehicle. The driver took him home. And that's when the shooter followed them and then shot at them. Then he got shot by the driver. He was hit when he was running away. He was taken to Vanderbilt. He's treated for wounds. He actually got hit in his upper chest, and he got hit in his right arm. I didn't mention that. He actually lied about the ordeal, but then he admitted that he felt that he was disrespected. And again, I'm guessing that he felt disrespected because he opened up the door based on what the driver said, that he gave the passenger a weird look right after he opened up the door for him. So again, to me, that's just, I don't know. But anyways, let's continue. And that's pretty much it. They do mention that the news channel, which is WKRN, ABC affiliate, they did reach out to Uber, and Uber just replied with their firearms policy, which states, and I'll read that real quick. Uber firearms prohibition policy. Our goal is to ensure that everyone has a safe and reliable ride. That is why Uber prohibits riders and their guests, as well as driver and delivery partners, from carrying firearms of any kind while using our app. My screen's acting a little weird, or the web page is acting a little weird right now. Anyone who violates this policy may lose access to Uber to the extent permitted by applicable law. I'm not exactly sure what that last part means. Maybe if the law allows it, or I'm not sure, or doesn't allow for them to be taken charge if somebody tries to defend themselves. I'm not sure. But anyways, so the last story, we're just going to skim over this real quick as well and see what's going on with this one. If I missed out anything on this one. Yep, somebody tried to rob a restaurant. Employee shot him. He was dressed in all black. Face was covered. Demanded cash at gunpoint. So I didn't mention that. I don't believe I did. At the chicken robber he had them at gunpoint. So he actually had a gun going in, and he had him at gunpoint. So they were definitely in danger of anything possibly happening. I didn't mention this either. 5 employees were inside the restaurant. It's right here. And it says, while one of the females was dealing with the robbery, one of the co-workers saw an opportunity to get a weapon that was being... So what this says right here is, so I'm guessing the female was the one who was being held at gunpoint. Obviously, everybody was who was there. And while that was happening, she was occupying the robber. Another employee saw an opportunity, and he went to go get a gun that another employee owned, and he was the one who got the gun and shot the robber, and who then eventually died. He was driven more than 10 miles, so he then he ran out the store, hopped in a white vehicle, and it states here he was driven 10 miles away to apartment complex. I don't want to state the apartment complex on here. You can go look at it if you really want to. And where he was dropped off at his girlfriend's front door, and he did not survive. And it states that his girlfriend saw him come out of a white car, and I don't think she knows whose the white car was. Maybe I don't know, but I'm not going to speculate. But and it states somebody has saw the person running with the gun and run out, but he ran out shot. So anyways, that's it for the stories tonight. It's the first time doing a story like this. Trying to get the channel going. But again, all 3 of these things had self-defense in common. It's sad, and crazy that somebody died in this one of these stories. It's even bad that people got shot, but people have the right to defend themselves. And especially the last case where he had people at gunpoint. I guess the first one too, he had a gun, so he obviously was possibly, if anything happened there as well. But being held at gunpoint, anything can happen in these situations to where the person who's robbing knows he's doing something wrong. His sensors are way up. His reaction, he's going to react to a lot. He can react to anything very quickly, or just, he might not be trying to actually kill anybody. He might not be trying to actually shoot anybody. Heck, the gun, he might just be there. If he doesn't have any money there, he might just leave, okay, whatever, and leave. Or it could be, if they don't have any money, he might get mad and start shooting. Or it could be, they might have money, they might give him the money, and he still might start shooting. It could be anything, right? Or it could be, he's just sitting there waiting for the money, and something happens. Something falls on the floor. Somebody screams. A car drives by that's a large, like a motorcycle, and he has like a quick reaction, and because he quickly panics or whatever, and shoots a gun off. Anything could happen, right? So there's no telling, right? So they felt really scared, threatened. So the man got a gun and shot the robber. So that's what happened in this case. But anyways, it's TimeOut Corner again. That's pretty much it for this particular story. I do want to say this. I am working on a website for the channel. Hopefully, it's going to be pretty good. And eventually, pretty soon, if everything works out right, we'll be having some exciting videos for the channel. And be on the lookout for some of those. It'll probably be after that starts happening, but we're gonna try to get some. Some of them won't be exciting. They won't be like something to be happy, not happy. They won't be something that is going to be like a. Um, you'll see. We'll talk about it more later. I don't want to go too deep into it right now of the ideas I have. So, but anyways, hope you enjoyed the content. I'll be making another update video for the channel, just to give some insights on what's going to be happening with the channel, the website I'm working on. It's not going to be like a regular website, news website. It's going to be a little different approach that I'm thinking of to news websites. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it once it comes out. It's just still in the design phases and stuff like that. I'm building it from scratch, bottom up. So, yeah, it's just things I like to do. But anyways, if anybody would like to get involved with the like I said, we're going to be working on some exciting, I wouldn't say exciting, but working on a new concept for film when it comes to news stories. So if anybody would like to get involved in that, hit me up. If you're here in Tennessee, or if you're close to Tennessee, or anywhere in the U.S., or heck, internationally, just contact me. We'll try to work something out, right? We'll see. We'll see how things can go. We'll try to get, we're going to try to get film going. Me and the personnel that I know, people that I know, we're going to try to get some things going. But anyways, yeah, so also I'm working on projects on the side, not for my normal work. I also have a company that I'm trying to start going, working on projects for that, working on a project with other friends, and ideas that we're working on. So that's actually why I'm learning linear algebra right now. I was doing a live stream of the debate the other day, and I mentioned I was studying some linear algebra because of a project that I'm working on requires me to have some knowledge in linear algebra. It is not a project for work. It's an actual personal project that I'm working on for an idea that I have that I'm working on actually for the company that I'm trying to start up. Well, it's actually started up already. It's in a sense of paperwork and files and all that stuff. But anyways, I don't want to get into that. We'll have a separate video for that. But anyways, it's TimeOut Corner. Let me know how the story went. Again, if you want to try to get involved in some of these projects I'm trying to work on and get started, just hit me up below, let me know, and we'll see where we can go from there. Anyways, TimeOut Corner, and talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. And if I talk too fast, let me know.